There are 5 different ways to color grade your footage in Davinci Resolve, and in this video I will show you one of them. To edit my videos, I use Davinci Resolve editing software. Their studio version is free. I will leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. It's not a paid promotion. So I have a few clips ready. Let's jump to the color tab. Before I start grading, I need to cover a few things. At first, you need to learn how to read your image. You need to see if there's too much green or too much blue or too much red, if the image is overexposed or underexposed. All of this will come with experience. So if you look at this image, there's too much green and the shadows could be a little bit darker. Also, there's a bit of noise. To analyze the image, I also use RGB Parade. It shows the spread of red, green and blue. My goal here is to spread the scopes as much as the image permits me. So at the bottom you have shadows, and I want the scopes just to touch the shadows, just to touch the zero. At the top there are highlights, and it's the same principle. I just want the highlights just to touch the top of the scope, and in between we got midtones. To adjust all of this, I'm gonna use primary bars. So lift is the shadows, and gamma is the midtones, and gain is the highlights. And also there is offset if you need to offset one of the colors. So looking at the image and looking at the scopes, I can see that the shadows could be a little bit darker and that there's a lot of green, especially in the midtones. So at first I'm gonna make the shadows darker, pull it down a little, and then I'm gonna reduce the green in the midtones. I can see that it's adding more red in the shadows, so I'm gonna reduce that as well. And bring everything just a little down. Add a bit of red in the midtones and add a bit of blue. So this is what we had, and this is what we have right now. There's a little bit too much red. I'm gonna reduce the red just a little. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Before, after. I'm gonna leave it at that. The next clip is from the same dive. The visibility from 20 meters went to 2 meters. We have here a scuba diver taking off his gear to fix his tank strap. And if you look at the image, you can see there's a lot of green in it. And if you look at the scopes, you can see that there's no red and there's too much green. For this clip, I'm going to create a node tree. Mainly there are 2 reasons to create a node tree. If you make too many changes in one single node, those changes start to clash and you introduce a lot of noise and artifacts into the image. And the second reason is with the node tree, it's a lot easier to track your changes. And if you need to come back to the project and adjust highlights or shadows, it's just a lot easier. So the first thing I need to do is to fix the red. So the first node I'm going to label red. And I'm gonna pull up the red color using offset. I just want the bottom of the red just to line up with the other scopes. I'm gonna create a new node. It's Alt-S keyboard shortcuts. I would advise to learn the keyboard shortcuts because they will speed up your editing a lot. The next node I'm gonna label green, and I'm gonna reduce the green. And we can see straight away that just these 2 changes made a huge difference. I'm gonna create another node. I'll call this luminosity, and I'm gonna adjust the shadows and the highlights. So I'm gonna create another node. I'm gonna adjust the contrast. There's this bar down here. Contrast is over here. So I'm gonna try adding and reducing and just picking out what looks best. I think I'm gonna stop at 0.95. I just think it looks better this way. There's a bit more detail down here. Alright, I'm gonna create another node. I'll just label it grade and I'll just do final adjustments in this node. Add some more reds. Add a bit more blue. With color grading, you constantly need to push the limit to actually find that best look. There's a bit of noise in the image, but it's just the way the footage is. This is the before, and this is after. So I have another clip here. I'm gonna look for a hero shot. Yeah, we'll use this one for the grade. This one I shot with flat profile with native white balance. That's why there's not a lot of detail in this shot. If you want to learn color grading and if you're gonna color grade your footage, it's best to film in a flat profile. It gives you a lot more flexibility in post-production. So if I look at my scopes, I can see that there's a little part of the image is a little overexposed. So the first node I'm gonna call Luma, and I'm gonna adjust the shadows and the highlights. I'm gonna just bring the highlights just a little down. And I'm gonna bring the shadows down. So I'm gonna adjust the contrast next. This is a bit too much. I'm going to stop it at around 1.2 because I just think it looks best. I'll add another node and see if I can bring some of the colors back. Let's try red first. Maybe reduce the blue just a little. So yeah, you just need to play around with the colors and just try and work out what looks best with the image that you have. Probably gonna leave it at that. Yeah, this looks pretty good. This is the before. And this is what we have now. I have one more clip to show you. It's from a night dive. I shot off a blue spot array. Let's find the hero shot. And let's use this one. So I used GoPro Color to shoot this footage, and the white balance I set to 5,500 Kelvin, which was the Kelvin value of my dive light. So I look at the image, I can see a lot of green. It's pretty dark. And if I look at the scopes, there's a bit more green. There's no information in the highlights. So in the first node, I'm gonna adjust the green. Just reduce it a little. we can see straight away that the image looks way better. So I'm gonna add a new node and make the image a bit brighter. This might be actually too much. I'll leave it at this. I'm not a professional, I'm just a guy that has a GoPro and wants his underwater footage to look nice. I'm gonna add another node, do a final grade. And basically just add a bit of blue. It's a bit too much. A little more red in the midtones. Okay, yeah, I think this looks pretty good. This is what we had before. And this is what it looks right now. My advice would be just to get out there, shoot some underwater footage, get back on your editing software and try to color grade. I would also advise to watch this video a few times and check out other people's videos, see how other people color grade their footage. The best way is to do it as much as you can and try and improve with every grade, and if you do it enough times, eventually you'll get good at it. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. I hope you found this video helpful. If you liked it, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video.